Hello everybody. So this is gonna be an interesting one because this is not remotely the kind of content that I generally tend to stream. This is very much we hit like 80 subscribers, so consequently I had an agreed upon statement that I was going to do another bonus stream. Our last bonus stream was blindfolded Dead by Daylight. This one is going to be significantly more chill. Although I say that, it is currently quite warm in here because my town is currently experiencing 27 degrees Celsius weather. So yeah, there's gonna be a lot of sweat today. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Especially because I've now got 3 different lights pointed my way, so consequently it's going to get kinda toasty in here over the course of this. So I may at some point have to turn on the fan, so if you start to hear any background noise like that, then you'd know where that's coming from, at least. But today we are going to be enjoying a little bit of chill and relaxing with some nail painting, because Lord knows I like to paint my nails. And to that end, I may have gone a little bit overboard with the prep for this, because my second camera looks like this. So here's our lovely little plushy friend, and we have the flowers that I've made for Carol's hat so far, just sort of like sprucing up the edging here. This is definitely a bit more ham than I generally tend to go for any kind of like bonus stream, but we hit 80 subs. I figure I probably should. Really nice top? Well, thank you very much. I don't wear it quite as often because it's a little bit more revealing than I can really stand to be, but it is a very nice top nonetheless, and it goes very well with these shorts as well. But anyways, to the credit of things. So, yep, just squish that fox. Squish that fox. There we Yeah, Stupid Fox joining us once again. I feel, sir, I feel like wearing the beanie in this weather is perhaps not necessarily, like, the smartest thing you've ever done, but then you are known as Stupid Fox, so who knows? Who knows? And I do have the chat over on my second monitor. Well, actually, technically this is my primary monitor, that's my second monitor, but nonetheless, I can see chat. So, you guys are going to be involved in this the whole way through. Now, I have quite an assortment of nail polishes, suffice it to say. A lot of these are pretty rubbish quality, I'll immediately say. The reason being that they were bought extremely for cheap and in bulk by a friend of mine as a gift from literally out of nowhere, pretty much. But a fair few of these are very good quality, and I don't actually use those very much. So we're going to be trying to get to work today with, let's see, I've arranged these on a rainbow so they're easier to find. There you are, okay. So, here we have, I believe this is Siren by Rimmel London, and I do not use this one pretty much ever because it's expensive, but also it is really terribly not very much in the way of opaque, and what that means is you put a coat of it on and then you can still see your nail through it, and that gives it a slight rosy tint, which is not really what you're looking for. What you want really with nail polishes generally is an actual fully opaque coat. So, wasn't it Andy, aka the Dragon Hat, that got that set for you? It was! And then at least one of these stained my nails yellow for like 2 months. So I will not be endorsing the company that manufactured those. But those are the ones that are like pointy topped round kind of like thing there. That's not what I used, but anyways. So, in order to use this, we need to figure out how to combat the opacity issue, and the best way that I know of, at least, to do that is to have an opaque matte color underneath it. Now, for this, I think the closest match we have to the actual decent color here is going to be Blueberry Muffin, which is a favorite of mine. Yellow nails is usually caused by wearing nail polish frequently. Oh no, that wasn't what caused it this time. This I can tell you with certainty. I had fully perfectly fine nails, then I painted them with the polishes that Andy got me as a gift, and then when they came off, my nails were yellow. On like one specific finger per hand, because I painted them in like a pride flag. So I knew it was one specific color that had done it. Which was entertaining, suffice to say. I can give Andy that. He did give me a bit of a laugh there. Okay, so once we've actually gotten this base coat on, and then this main coat on, we obviously also need a top coat. And my usual go-to would be the Wet Set Quick Dry from Barry M. Works very well. We don't want to be using a matte top coat for this because we're trying to get the iridescence out of the Rimmel London Siren. So that's out of the question. And I do also have this plumpy top coat, which is, I don't know how to describe it. I guess you could almost call it a volumizer. Like, it's a great way of adding some severe depth to your nails, but it dries very softly, and it can take ages to even manage that. So I generally tend to like avoid that one for the most part. So for today, we're just using the quick dry. But this stream is going to last up to 3 hours, so naturally I need to make sure that we have sufficient like stuff to do to actually fill in that content period. So we're going to be augmenting the iridescence of the Rimmel London Siren with one of the cheapo polishes that I got by Beauty for Britain, because now I actually have to give them some kind of send out, because we have this golden glitter, and I've worn this before. At the very least, I've worn this on top of other coats and it was fine, so there's that. And we're going to be needing an actual proper base coat so that I don't utterly destroy my nails or have to spend hours with an axle grinder trying to just get them off. So my usual go-to for that is the highly affordable and highly available Peel It, Peel Off Base Coat by Barry M. Once again. So in order of application, there we go. We have 5 layers to apply to each distinct nail, and that will hopefully give us a rather nice blue sparkly kind of aesthetic for this. And I'm just going to quickly move the microphone a little bit so you guys can hear me a bit better as I get into this. There we go. You guys should be able to hear me quite well now. So, okay, let's get started. And I'm just going to take my nail file and give my nails a little bit of a once over. So just make sure everything is as rounded as I can reasonably make it. That shouldn't take terribly long. Watch an hour's worth of last night on your PS4 but couldn't chat? Oh, for the last night's stream, I presume? You okay there, Dusty? Yeah, now I'm not like magnificently good at this. Let me just get the music going for you guys again. There we go. Just so that me being quiet doesn't necessarily mean a quiet stream. Didn't realize I was streaming. I mean, I didn't announce it in the vlog that admittedly came out 2 months late or so. Several hours ago. But, yeah, don't worry about it. But yeah, I had a bonus stream backlogged. The next one is at 160 subscribers, by the by. And we didn't have D&D today, so I figured, why not? Why not do it today? And then I racked my brain trying to figure out exactly what I could do that would be worth actually doing a bonus stream on. And a bonus stream tends to favor being content that you don't tend to do a lot, and I'd already done Dead by Daylight, so yeah. Wondering if anyone would nail find myself. Oh, right, yes, of course. Alright, I will try and keep these away from the microphone as much as I can then. This shouldn't take very long, at the very least. Did I get the creep sorted, or is it still a little bad? The creep works fine now. It seems to understand like the presence of a rift, so it doesn't just self-destruct randomly. But I didn't actually figure out what caused that, so it might happen again. I don't know. It's the problem of when you have a bug with no clear cause. It's difficult to replicate. You just sort of have to wait to see if it rears its head again. Okay, I think we're just about done here with the opening filing, as it were. A little bit of gentle rounding. I was about to say gentle edging, but I feel like a lot of people in this chat will take that in a very distinct way. But okay, so start with our peel off base coat, because that will... It doesn't really add much in the way of color by itself, but it will basically mean that if we do something really wrong, then we can just scrub it off more or less with slightly warm water later on, and we'll be able to just start off over really quickly, really easily, and it makes things so much easier to get off later on as well. But yeah, let me see, we did a whole bunch of bug fixing, a bunch of unexpected bug fixing, because the main bug that we tried to fix was a whole ton of lag, which turned out, I think, to be related to the volume handler, because it was just sort of working on an ever-expanding list that it was then adding to, hence ever-expanding. So, whilst it did its job, eventually, it ate up increasing amounts of CPU as it did it. So we changed that to a more progressive kind of model. Now, if there's one advantage to painting your nails on a really hot day, it's that the liquids hardening tend to involve a degree of evaporation, which means that you get a nice cool sensation on your fingertips. Which is, of course, very welcome. Right now. Okay, so that's one hand of our base coat. I will wait for that to be done before I do the other hand. They messed around the complex last week, and this week they've been filing potential sinkholes with cement. Too loud, too long, it's probably not going to sleep. Oh dear. Apologies, Purr. I hope that clears up soon. But there we go. We are just starting off, getting all of that going. And we are using my Logitech C920 webcam for this, but we also, just off to the right-hand side of it, have my selfie stick, which happens to also be a tripod and is holding my phone, which is itself holding a actual beauty light, because I have like 2 or 3 of those that I mostly just don't ever use. But this is literally what they're for, so they're just providing a little bit of incidental light over here. Great Plate isn't one of those big industrial power hammers. Yeah, pneumatic hammers are very loud. Very entertaining though. I personally enjoy them. What's my opinion on string cheese? I think it's been decades since I've had any. Like, Be more irritable if you had to put up with any. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I feel like if we had to put up with any of the troubles that we've previously had with like housing and such, we would probably be incredibly livid. Particularly because I know where my landlord lives. That could be entertaining. But yes, if you are a patron, then you got to watch me make these a few days ago, like last Friday, I think. It is just glass vials and completely fake iris flowers dipped into craft resin, which I don't think that's set quite as well as I'd like it to. I might try again, but ideally I'll have to wait for like another batch of flowers or something, because I don't really want to end up with just a piece of junk glass vial full of solid resin. I'd prefer to actually have something I can use out of it. When we were living in Omaha, we lived like 2 streets away from where they were putting in a new car park building that took 2 years. Oh dear. Yeah, that will... Oof. Our last apartment, Foxed in Alpha, this being Foxed in Beta, had a whole ton of demolition behind us, like, really not very long after we got there, which it had the very entertaining side effect that the way that our bins were arranged back then was that we had like an alleyway that was locked off, and you needed to actually like have a key to get for a big heavy metal gate. And because of how much demolition they did, they got rid of the buildings on the other side of the alleyway from us, so that entire side was just open. The gate was completely pointless at that stage. But they kept the gate for some reason. They still haven't built anything there. It's been years. They haven't done anything with that space. My understanding is that it's being bought out by the university so they can build a new campus, but who knows if that'll happen. The Sewer Saga? Yep. That's a whole story in and of itself, really. Let's try and keep on just like chill positive things right now, shall we? I feel like that'd be better. Okay, I think this should be dry enough. Generally speaking, if you do a thin enough coat and all sorts, then your painting should only like take a couple of minutes tops, really, to dry. But I have never trusted that metric, especially because I have a terrible measure of time. So yeah, we're gonna leave it a little longer. So okay, next hand. So just from more or less the cuticle forwards, light strokes. Just about a thin layer. Just partially why it should dry so quickly, but again, I don't trust like that. So that we get an even spread. Or as even as we can manage, at least. And I would say that nail painting is probably one of the things I've gotten best at of the not traditionally masculine kind of stuffs. There may be arguments that I'm better at some other ones, but yeah. Okay. Back of the line. That has been done. So now we just gotta wait for this hand to finish up. Downloading mods for Fallout. Ooh, enjoy. Tell you what I'd love to go back to at some point is definitely heavily modded Stalker. So fun. I'm a massive nerd for like urban decay kind of like aesthetics. It's like, well, this used to be like a really busy like hospital, but then we abandoned it in the 1960s, and nobody actually guards it, so people can just come and go as they like. It's just like, oh, I love seeing it fall apart. Oh, it's beautiful. It's a very particular kind of aesthetic. It's not quite urbex. It's not quite urban aesthetic. It's not quite nature aesthetic. It's sort of a mixture of the two. So, ooh, I love it. It's beautiful. Speaking of Stalker, will I ever play any of the other games? Call of Pripyat was the most recent one. It was the least buggy, debatably, depending on who you ask. And whilst there are mods for the other ones, it was a lot easier to play Pripyat modded than to play other ones. So I'm not going to say no, because they're really good games. They're a lot of fun, but they're really, really unstable. So, Nature Reclaims aesthetic? Yeah. That's why that was the aesthetic I was trying to introduce to Minecraft with Nature Reclaims. It was like, not so much, here is just a bunch of blocks and structures that resemble a structure that has been overtaken. More like, you've built a structure, you've personally constructed a mansion, let's say. And then you've just, like, gone on a mining trip for however long. And then you come back, you've lost complete track of time because you've been underground, the sun's been wheeling overhead, that kind of thing. And you find that your windows are cracked, you find that there's vines crawling up the side of your mansion. Like, actual change in the environment of Minecraft doesn't really happen a lot. So just having something that was like, you have to keep on top of this or it's going to overtake you, that was, oh, so fun. Wouldn't mind seeing the Sticks sequel. I think it's in my library on Steam. Not 100% certain. Industrial Revolution. Oh yeah, the aesthetic of the Industrial Revolution was nice as well. I mean, it was a horrible time to live. For a variety of reasons, but the Industrial Revolution, just like, here's this, like, not long after Middle Age kind of civilization kind of style being overtaken by brass and steel and steam, and it's just, oh, that's such nice. But yeah, I definitely have the Styx sequel in my library, so, yeah, maybe we'll see that at some point. That would probably end up being on a midnight stream, though. So it depends how long it takes me to get through Monster Hunter World. Iceborne. Oof. May have tried to gift it to me only to find I already had it. I feel like I was gifted it anyway, so you may have been like, you may have had competition, Burr. Sim settlements. Yeah, I'm curious, does that just make them, like, really animated and speak in total gibberish? Or is it more like the Fallout Vaults kind of, like, game? How does that work, I wonder? Maybe look it up. Okay, how do we think? We're done with this, waiting on this to dry. I would say we're probably pushing it a little bit with the timetable, but let's see what we can do. Kinda wish Steam had an anonymous gifting system. Yeah, that'd be nice. Like, if you did Secret Santa with your friends, you could use Steam that way. You place plots down and the people build it. Oh, neat. Okay, so here is our opaque layer to compensate for the transparency of the Siren. This is Blueberry Muffin by Barry M Cosmetics. And Rimmel is overpriced and frequently garbage, but it does have some nice aesthetic elements to it. So there's our first nail. You can see it's a lovely shade of blue. I do very much enjoy Blueberry Muffin. And also actually Blueberry Muffins. But they're a little hard to get right now. Go to bed now? Okay, night night. Sleep well. Now they say you've got to suffer for your art or your beauty or whatever, and I feel the aspect of that manifests most readily in nail painting is the smell of acetone. Which I'm a bit more used to at this stage, but Fuzz very much not so much. Fuzz has much more sensitive smell than I do. Although, interestingly enough, I get misophonia, if you guys didn't, if anybody watching did not know that. But Fuzz and I are both autistic, and that means we get stuff like that quite a bit. But I have way worse misophonia when I've just woken up. And such. And Fuzz's like sensitivity to scent is very similar in that regard. Okay, now I had my brother at one point ask me, why do I hold my hands over the side of the table like this when I'm painting my nails? And the answer to that is it is very difficult to get your thumb flat when you're trying to actually paint over it any other way. At least it's very uncomfortable. There we go. So that is the base coat, or the opacity coat, let's say. And as I say, this is a very lovely shade of blue. Gorgeous. And dear Lord, I am turning rosy red in the camera right now, aren't I? Oof. Smile has a mini cheesecake. Ooh. Stalker 2 is planned for sometime this decade. Yeah, about that. Stalker 2 has been in development for like most of my life. Like, it's not quite vaporware. They have been working on it. They've just been working on it for an extremely long time. So, not 100% certain that's going to turn up. We'll see. We could call it... I guess we could call it development hell. There's that. Same brain cell, evidently, for Purah and Dusty. Okay, so just waiting for these nails to finish up drying, and then we will page the other hand. You like my laugh? No? Have you noticed that it's always like 3 chuckles at once? Well, 3 chuckles one after the other. Yeah. I noticed that years ago, and it makes me self-conscious to realize it. Stalker 2 is due next year, apparently, says Cam. Again, I will believe it when I see it. WTA Earthblood? I cannot for the life of me figure out what that means. I don't think I've heard of that at all. Tell you what game I am excited for is Cyberpunk. Really interested to see that, because they've made some bold claims, and they have had some very significant missteps with their marketing at the very least. The, like, advertising in-game is not necessarily great, bearing in mind, of course, that Cyberpunk itself is based on pretty not great concepts anyway, so of course they're present in there. But so if they even like halfway meet their statements on what you can do in the character customization, probably I'm going to take a wild guess, barring height. I don't think you'll be able to get a Cyberpunk character that's like 5'2". But ooh, I'm excited to see just how closely I can replicate myself in that character career. That could be entertaining. Also, I'm a big transhumanism nerd, so who knows? Okay, do I think this is good enough so far for me to actually start work on the other hand? Not entirely certain. Let's find out. If I end up with it on parts of my fingers, then we know the answer was no. So we got Blueberry Muffin, and then we'll be adding Siren, and we'll be adding Beautiful Britain Glitter, and then a nice, quick set, glossy top coat. And for whatever reason, I always find I end up with cleaner edging and such on my right hand as opposed to my left, which is mostly strange because my right hand is my dominant, so you'd think I'd be more precise with it. But Lord knows that is not always the case. You have Cyberpunk 2077 on your wish list because you're also curious how far you can replicate yourself in the game. Yeah. Also, Keanu Reeves is in it for some reason. Genuinely couldn't tell you. Like, I'm not 100% certain. Apparently, due to some of the stuff that's in that game, if I'll even be able to stream it. And if I can't stream it, I almost definitely can't put it on YouTube. But it does seem like a really nice game. Or at the very least, it's going to seem like it's going to be a very interesting world to run around in. Been having fun with Hacknet recently. Okay. Definitely had a slip there. Yeah, you can probably make that out. So that little dip, that little raise in the middle of that nail, that is definitely a slip, but oh well. People have been more excited about the game because Keanu Reeves in it. Oh yeah, he's wholesome as heck. Like, criminy. Love to see me play a coding game. There are coding games. Now the problem with playing a coding game is the coding is kind of the point of it. Now granted, coding is also theoretically the point of my building blocks streams that people tend to enjoy quite a lot. It's actually one of my higher performing streams somehow. But actually playing a coding game, it tends to be for people who are not as good at coding, for people who don't even know how to code at all, for instance. So it tends to be a case of, if I go into it already knowing how to program, then it's really just patronizing me, for the most part. But a game that is actually on my level of being able to program is very difficult for other people to get into. So yeah, it's sort of a it's a semi catch-22. If there's not enough programming, then I get really bored really quickly. If there's too much programming, nobody wants to watch it. So, I don't know. I'm not sure how to remedy that, personally. What's a catch-22? Catch-22 is, damned if you do, damned if you don't, essentially. It comes from a old book from like World War II titled Catch-22, and the titular Catch-22 is that a member of the military is trying to get out so that he doesn't have to go into battle, and his logic goes that he can only be removed from the cockpit, as it were, if he is deemed to be insane. If he flies in the planes into battle, then he must be insane, but he can't be removed from the cockpit if he can keep flying. So therefore, Catch-22, he cannot get out, because he's just stuck. Back in 2009, you were stuck in a Catch-22, need an ID to get your SS card, need an S card to get... Yeah, it's that kind of thing. Okay, do we think... I feel like my right hand is not quite 100% dry yet, but definitely getting close, I want to say. I definitely haven't gotten the entirety of it. I've missed points on the furthest edge on the sides, but as I say, this is my dominant hand. This is not. So, yeah. But we should be fine on this hand to start applying the Siren. And I like this a lot because it is iridescent, which, if I have to give an explanation, it's a different color based on how the light is hitting it relative to where you're looking. I'm trying to think, like, if you've ever seen a painting that seems to follow you with its eyes as you move around the room, it's kind of like that, but it's with color rather than shape. Once I'd like to play Watch Dogs, if I remember you said that although Watch Dogs is a good game, oh yeah, why is everything accessible via Wi-Fi in that world? Ugh. Yeah, it plays on the very Internet of Things kind of concept, and I hate it. Okay, and yes, it looks like our blueberry muffin is working very nicely here. So So I don't know how well that comes across there. So we've got 2 that are just blueberry muffin over here, and we've now got 2 that are the beautiful siren over there. You can kind of see there's a little bit of a color difference, but it's very nice. Part of the fun is seeing Lang explain why X, Y, or Z couldn't work because of A, B, or C. Well, the problem is that Watch Dogs is functional. It's a terrible, terrible idea, but it's functional. It works. The reason it's a terrible idea, in fact, is why your character in Watch Dogs is able to do all the stuff that they do in Watch Dogs. Because they can just hack, basically, everything that they come across, and void any kind of sense of security whatsoever. So it's really a decent, like, demonstration in that regard. But there's the greater question of why would the ostensive domineering company or government or whatever in Watch Dogs be so incredibly stupid as to actually do it in the first place? Because literally anybody who has even the slightest degree of security knowledge will tell you it's a really bad idea. It's like putting your top secret bunker phone number or whatever in the phone book in the yellow pages or something. It's just But okay, so that's looking really, really nice. Oof. Yeah, the blueberry muffin is working perfectly there, I think, as a opacity coat. By the by, I'm using terms like opacity coat and such. I have no idea if that's what they should, strictly speaking, be called, but it's the term I can think of that is the most clear on what exactly they are doing and serving as. Do not come to me for actual nail painting, like, terminology and such. I'm completely self-taught, really. So yeah, I'm not a great source of advice in that regard, but that does look gorgeous. Now bear in mind, you generally want to try and avoid putting a whole freaking ton of coats onto your nails. It just gets thicker and muckier and easier to damage the higher up you go. Generally speaking, I try to aim for like 3, including the peel-off base coat and the top coat. But 4 is fine. Here, we're going for straight up 5. So, hopefully this doesn't go dreadfully wrong. But, gotta say, I am liking the look of it so far. I love that iridescence. Ooh. Yeah, that is so nice. Expensive as hell. But with a nice opaque with a nice opaque base coat, I don't need to worry too much about putting a whole ton of it on. Yay. Previously, I have actually just like layered and layered and layered until the point where it actually became opaque, and that was not worth it. Still looked nice. Still not worth it. But yeah, Watchdog is based on a concept referred to as the Internet of Things, which is essentially to say that we can do magnificent things if we are able to connect everything to everything else. It's the fundamental principle by which the internet, for instance, works, hence the Internet of Things. So it's connecting everything from your home printer to your phone, to your car, to your laptop, all that kind of stuff. And you can indeed accomplish a lot of stuff very quickly, very easily by doing that. The problem is that you're then able to get to any part of your system from any other part of your system. So the second that any one of those devices is compromised in even the slightest measure, and they will be because it's basically inevitable, then everything is compromised. So yeah, somebody, like, installs a bit of malware into your laptop and suddenly your thermostat is maxed out, and also your car just drove itself through the back of your garage wall, and your fridge just won't stop spitting out ice cubes. There's a movie with Pierce Brosnan, actually, about sort of a similar concept. not too long ago, in which the whole thing was he connected basically everything in his house together and then really, really, really screwed over the IT guy responsible for it all. So, yeah, that's we see where that story went quite quickly. It was just like, okay, this guy is definitely like doing illegal stuff and should absolutely be apprehended and like prosecuted. But also, Pierce Brosnan, you're a complete idiot. At no point was this a smart idea, and if you'd listened to literally anybody in the IT field, they'd have told you that. Okay, I think we're good on our iridescent there with the siren. So we're going to apply that to our other hand. And this is the part probably where I end up spilling this entire thing and I can't get more of it because lockdown. Anyways, is it warm where anybody else is? Are you guys enjoying heat? Or is it chilly where you are? Let me know. Yeah, if there's anybody tuning in to tuning into a beauty stream right now and hearing a guy talk about internet security and network hacking and whatnot, by trade I'm actually a programmer for the most part. Officially, I'm a content creator, and that's more or less my main hat. But a lot of it that I do also involves programming, and that's what I have a degree in as well. So consequently, that pops up a fair bit. Because people know I'm good at it. There we go. Looking nice. Air-gapped computer networks. Interesting thing in Watch Dogs 2. Yeah, it's a weird term for an actual thing, and it basically just means that there's a gap between network A, network B, and because there is a physical barrier, it makes it way harder to hack everything from everything else. So one of the things you can do is, if you detect that there is a breach of your security in your network, then you push a button or something and the network connection between the two just literally gets unplugged. And it's sort of like, trying to think here. Oh no, I'm being hacked, unplug the internet. It's the literal actual equivalent of that in network security. It's not very common, because it's easier to just secure your system, but it works. Like, it is second only to taking a fire axe to the power supply of the building in terms of effectiveness. Can't hack what isn't online. But, yeah. Ooh, that's looking very nice. Ooh, I like that. I like that a lot. Okay, and so far I don't appear to have painted my flesh very much either, which is always a concern when you get to this. Yeah, we have some nice iridescence going on there. Loving it. As I say, the Blu-ray muffin by Bariam, I love. It's a beautiful color. It's very nice. I utterly love it as a shade of blue. Oh, it's gorgeous. But it's a matte color. It's shiny, depending on what top coat you put on it. But yeah, not many people would recognize they are being hacked. Oh no, there's entire systems just to detect that, Para. If you have an entire like company, you have people in charge of just constantly watching and seeing if they're being hacked. But your average like everyday person who's just like sitting around at their computer working on stuff, not so much. Dragon with the 32 people raid, welcome. This must be such a weird thing to come out of after just watching Andy's stream. But yeah, today we are painting our nails. We've got 2 layers on so far, which is, well, 3 including our base coat. So we have peel off base coat, we have blueberry muffin blue, and we have just added a little bit of Rimmel London siren on here to really give it that beautiful kind of shiny iridescent finish. We are then going to be adding some glitter, and then we're going to be doing a top coat. And this is a bonus stream because we hit 80 subscribers. I think we're currently on 95. Our next bonus stream will be at 160, which hopefully takes a little bit more time because the last bonus stream was like last week. So we'll see. But yeah, welcome everybody. Scram's in the chat for the raid, everybody. Oh, we're just screaming at each other now. Well, if Andy has a screaming emote and I have a screaming emote, then let's all scream together, I guess. Yeah, welcome to the... Would they be would you guys be wormlings? What is the name for, like, Andy's community, the Dragon Hats community? Because over here at Remember Comics, we have the Forgetfuls. Where's the ice cream? In the freezer. Although I'm almost definitely having some of that for dessert tonight. Jeez. So hot. So hot. Hot damn. Oh, and that Pip has some boba. Nice. Okay, right. Well, I think we're at a point now where we can actually start to apply our glitter. Why do you have a sub to someone from FaZe? I mean, how big is FaZe at this point? Me. Of course it's hot, I'm in chat. 117 deaths in Halo. Oh. Wait, Andy was playing Halo? Wow, this is like a severe tonal shift. We're gonna get wrecked in Halo, boys. It's 2004, apparently. And then, hey, let's go and just quietly, calmly, and just chill out a little bit painting nails. You know, just enjoy that. Okay. So unlike the other paints that we've been playing with today, the glitter is literally just transparency, like just a coat that will just harden, that's not got any color to it, pretty much at all. And then little tiny pieces of biodegradable glitter. And it just is gonna add a little bit of glisten in between the ridges that are made seeming to exist more or less by our iridescent siren polish. I sat and counted them all for 3 hours. Oh boy, you guys just kept a tally going. Oh. Now I feel like I should have like some kind of Sangheili costume on or something. It's like it's after the Covenant War, and it's just like there's a Sangheili in like I don't know Johannesburg or wherever, just sort of like pursuing a life now now during peacetime as just like a beauty streamer. That could, damn, I would watch that actually. That's an entertaining concept. Damn. Why did I have to think of that? Now I have to create a Sangheili OC. We don't have to be as careful to plonk this all over. Quite the opposite, actually. We just have to be careful not to clump it all up, or else there'll be a ton of glitter in one place. There we go. Okay, so yeah. I don't know if I necessarily have the focal length here to show off where all the glitter is, but ooh, looking nice. I am using my phone as a light stand right now, so it just decided to wake up there. Almost guarantee painting will be done at the 90-minute mark. I mean, we can see. If we still have leftover time, I might try and do a little bit of like facial makeup, but I do not remotely promise that, nor if I do it that I'll be any good at it. Especially because I haven't had a haircut in way too long, so. Loving the blue, why thank you. It was the first thing we put on, and it is gorgeous. So that is... and bloop. That is Blueberry Muffin by Barry M. Cosmetics, and that is Rimmel London Siren. So this basically functions to make the whole thing opaque, and it is a decent enough close approximation of the siren's color that it doesn't make it incredibly visible. And then we have the London, which is adding a whole ton of iridescence and shininess to it that makes it look very, very nice. I could do creepypasta readings. I feel like that's it's one thing if there's a massive tonal shift when, like, somebody reads me from their, like, I don't know, top COD 180 no scope things, I guess, or something stream to, like, here's beauty, by the by. It's another thing I feel like if the beauty stream pivots midway through to reading creepypasta. Anyways, let's see. Yeah, this is dry enough. I believe. I think we're getting there. Okay, so let's do that on the other hand, and then we can get started on our final layer, which is the top coat. Beauty creepypastas? Are there many beauty related SCPs? That's the question, I guess. But yeah, for completely unrelated reasons, I had all of these flowers just hanging around by the time that I was setting up for this stream, so consequently we have a hella aesthetic kind of second camera here. Hey Arch, there's a creepypasta for everything? Oh yeah, absolutely. If the witch was an SCP, what would their number be? 6969. Ah, wait, no, that one's probably been, like, heavily, like, dibsed already, I guess. 42069, maybe? Yes. Actually, how many, like, people did they kill? Was it, like, 135,000? Can't remember. Maybe SCP-135, then? I don't know how these are, like, I don't know how SCP numbers are assigned. If it's just, like, the latest one gets the highest number, or something. Or if there's actually, like, a procedure. If it's calculated. But yeah, for people joining from Andy's stream, this particular glitter polish is one of a significant number that were dumped on me out of the blue by Andy. I think it's just the new one gets the next number. Okay, so it's a question of, like, chronology, essentially. Like, when do we think the SCP Foundation discovered and captured the witch? Presuming that they captured them. Could I just do the witch voice and kill Dusty? It's a possibility. This one gets the next number, then their class is assigned depending on how dangerous they are. I don't know enough about the SCP Foundation to know what the classes are. Is there like a Keter class? I think that's about the only one I know off the top of my head. And since I currently have, like, nail paint drying here, I can't exactly go typing it up. Looking it out, that kind of thing. Isn't the class based on how easy they are to contain? I mean, in theory, that's exactly what it means either way. The more dangerous they are, the harder they are to contain, theoretically. I believe the classes got updated late last year? Okay. So the SCPs are back from spring break, got it. Reminds me, like, just speaking of classes, there was a Steven Universe fan comic that passed my, like, Tumblr dash recently, which was just like, Steven introduces the gems and whatnot to how to play a Dungeons and Dragons copyright escaping clone, essentially. And Connie is the dungeon master who's going to make them suffer for all of the emotional damage that they, like, burdened him with. But I had to, like, pause at the point where Garnet described her character, because she literally runs the same build as I'm currently running in the second Dungeons and Dragon Hats campaign that usually happens on days like today. So just like, I'm a multi-class divination wizard slash fighter. How does that work? You'll see. It's a surprise. It's just like, what? Wait, hang on, am I getting called out? So So that was fun, Dizzy. I'd be curious to know what race she was playing. If it was Warforged, I'm suing, I guess. I don't know how, but nonetheless. And I think Peridot was playing an Artificer, and I'm pretty sure Pearl was playing a Paladin. I'm trying to think, who else was playing that? Amethyst was maybe probably playing a Barbarian. Weep. Why do we even have that bone? Okay, so we are applying now the Wet Set Quick Dry top coat, which a top coat usually doesn't add any color, doesn't add very much in the way of appearance. It is essentially a protective coat more than anything else, and it is used so that you don't damage your carefully applied nail polish quite so easily. But there's different effects you can have. So we have a wet set, which is really irritating for me because you can never quite be certain if it's dried. I tend to prefer mattes for that reason, because you can definitely tell when a matte coat is finished drying because it ceases to be shiny. But yeah, I have wet set, I have quick dry. Well, I have wet set to look really shiny. I have matte for when I just want it to look like somebody used the fill command inside of a video editing program of your choice, well, photo editing program of your choice. And I have plumpy, which if I want to make it really volumey, that kind of thing. But this should only take a couple of hot moments to finish, and that is oh so pretty. That is really nice. I am not 100% certain how to describe it. It's like flecks of gold floating in the ocean, I guess, is the easiest way I have to describe it. Again, I don't think I necessarily have a focal length on this webcam to describe it properly, but whew, it is nice. Anyways, as long as my right hand is free for the moment, let's look at these SCP classes. Let's see, object classes. What do we got here? Safe, Euclid, Keter, Falmiel, and Neutralized. Well, I'm gonna blow right past safe, because there's not a chance in hell that the witch describes that. I guess theoretically, if depending on how like the witch manifests as an SCP, then it might be easily contained. You just don't open the well, you cordon it off, put down signs, that kind of thing. But Falmiel, Falmcraft, I don't know. I've literally just discovered this thing exists. Ukid are anomalies that require more resources to contain completely, or where containment isn't always reliable. Okay, that might also constitute the witch even then. Usually this is because the SCP is insufficiently understood or inherently unpredictable. Euclid is the object class with the greatest scope, and it's usually a safe bet that an SCP will be this class if it doesn't easily fall into any of the other standard object classes. Okay. Any SCP that's autonomous, sentient, or sapient is generally classified as Euclid, due to the inherent unpredictability of an object that can act or think on its own. Okay, so we're starting off at Euclid, essentially. Keter class are anomalies that are extremely difficult to contain consistently or reliable, with containment procedures often being extensive and complex. The Foundation often can't contain these SCPs well due to not having a solid understanding of the anomaly or lacking the technology to properly contain or counter it. A Keter SCP does not mean the SCP is dangerous, just that it is simply very difficult or costly to contain. We're definitely getting up there. Okay, I think we've upgraded from Euclid to Keter now. Falmiel class SCPs are anomalies that the Foundation specifically uses to contain other SCPs. Even the mere existence of Falmiel class objects is classified at the highest levels of the Foundation, and their locations, functions, and current status are known to... Okay, so that's Hellboy, basically. Hellboy is a Falmiel class SCP. Gotcha. Neutralized SCPs are anomalies that are no longer anomalous, either through having been intentionally or accidentally destroyed or disabled. Okay, so I think we're classifying the witch as a Keter class SCP then. Heck if I know what its number should be. Okay, so quick dry on the other hand. Top coat's also dreadfully important if you're going to be making dinner after a stream. Because biodegradable or not, nobody wants glitter in their Ryakidon. What would the witch do as an SCP? What would the witch do as an NPC? I think we've described that already inside of her various oddities. They're a malicious and malevolent quest giver. By the by, if you happen to be into Minecraft mods, not only do we stream them here every Tuesday, but there was recently a release added to various oddities on Curse, which is my current kind of major project for modding, and it includes a pact system and the witch, so you can do that. What will witch do as a shopkeeper? Wear a mask and make sure anybody that came into their establishment did as well, and probably also like latex gloves and maybe a shield at the counter. You know, they're not an idiot on the least bit. Okay, so that, I believe, is all done, and that looks gorgeous. So gorgeous apparently that my webcam is having some significant difficulty with the white balance, but that might just be because I'm tremendously pale. Anomalous properties can be as simple as physical differences. Don't know what that means. What is the locked box test is an informal guideline used to determine an object's most appropriate object class. If you lock it in a box, leave it alone and nothing bad will happen, it's probably safe. Nope. If you lock the witch in a box, leave it alone, they are going to kill you. Horribly. If you lock it in a box, leave it alone, and you're not entirely sure what will happen, then it's probably Euclid. If you lock it in a box, leave it alone, and it easily escapes, then it's probably Keter. If it is the box, it's probably Falmiel. Okay. Yeah, I know, I know. I get severe anxiety from, like, being reminded that I have projects I haven't finished. Thank you very much. I will get to it. I will get to it. Just, yeah. Always stuff going on. Means their anomalous property could be as simple as fox ears. True, true. They could easily be just like, it's a person, but with fox ears. And I guess that would make them a safe class. But I want to say we deal in a bit more than that with the witch. Like, the witch is just basically just straight up a winter court fae for the most part. Or maybe, no, they're probably more of an autumn court, but still. Catgirls are SCPs? Yes, by that classification, Marsh, catgirls are indeed SCPs. Is Milo an SCP? I think Milo's an alien, aren't they? I genuinely don't know. Okay. Oh, right. Well, that was a good hour spent. But I do look at the results. And yeah, we definitely don't have the focal length there. I need to zoom out a fair bit, but oof, that is nice. Okay. So I can try and put on some face makeup. I don't know how many of you that are watching right now would be interested in that. Let me know in the chat. Lord knows I'm not as good at that as I am with my nails. I have a lot more practice with my nails. Nails are a lot more easy to do than basically anything else. You just need to know a few basic principles, and off you go. It's also very cheap, relatively speaking. Very cheap to get into. So hey, if there's anybody out there who wants to get into doing a little bit of personal beauty, self-care kind of things, and just fancy spending an hour or so, like, just chilling, listening to music and painting and stuff, then there you go, a little bit of wonderful cheap self-expression that is definitely not the least bit limited by gender. So hey, enjoy that. You're interested? Okay, I will be back in a moment then with some face makeup, see what I can put together for you guys. Didn't plan to go this far, we'll find out. Right, everybody. So, let me see here. I've got mirror, because doing this inside of just staring at a camera is not exactly the easiest thing in the world. And then I have a selection of things. So, we got just some lip balm, kind of necessary, important for stuffs. We have some liquid black mascara. This is L'Oreal. No, actually not mascara, eyeliner. I daren't touch mascara, at least not just yet, anyways. And we also have some black. This is essentially a felt tip. It's pretty much literally just a very expensive felt tip. That's all, more or less all you need to know. And these are for doing eyeliner. These are for adding wings and all sorts, that kind of thing. And I've gotten better at that, but it's debatable if I'm good at it yet. And then, to go with the lip balm, I also have some liquid lip liner. This is essentially lipstick. It's the easiest way for me to describe it. It's essentially lipstick, but it's this one in particular is called a nude color. And what that basically means is that you go for all the effort of adding on makeup to make it look like you're not wearing makeup. I don't know why that's an entire thing. That seems like we failed as a civilization, but it's what we got today. So I'm going to be trying to apply some wings with some black eyeliner, and we're going to be trying to apply some lip gloss, just lip gloss essentially, let's call it that. Why would I touch mascara? Because the concept of putting things that close to my eyeball is terrifying. Get myself a red one. I definitely do have some red lipstick. I have like 2 different red lipsticks actually at this point. But okay, so step 1. And I know that I know this is an extremely complex step, but go with me on this. It's gonna make a lot more sense later on. Remove your glasses. You with me there? You just gotta remove your glasses, because it's really hard to apply eye makeup with glasses on. Mood, I hate things near my eyes? Yeah, there's that. Also, like, the things for, like, curling them look horrifying. They're probably a lot safer than I expect them to be and all sorts, but mascara's only terrifying the first time you do it, and also the, like, 6 times after that. But okay. Now, something I learned, after much trial and error, and reviewing of footage on YouTube of how things, like, are done, is that my eyes are of a very specific kind. They are, what's the phrase here? I would call them sunken, because that's pretty much exactly what they is. They're very inset to my face, which essentially, like, here is my orbital, the eye socket, as it were, and they're pretty deep into there, so consequently my eyelids tend to just follow like my eyeball as I look up and such, which means that if I don't apply a stabilizer, which I won't do for just today, by sheer virtue of I'm probably not going to be putting these up, means that eventually the heat inside of like between my eyeball and the rest of my head pretty much will melt whatever makeup I put on my eyelid, and cause it to just smear everywhere. They're deeply inset, yeah, pretty much. There's also a lot of people from Asia tend to have mono lids, which are pretty much, if they blink or whatnot, you would not be able to tell. If like the point where you put the makeup on just pretty much doesn't move, that kind of thing. There's a variety of different eyes, essentially, and mine are one of the most annoying to put any kind of eyeliner on. So, yeah. Mascara scares me a bit still, applied it maybe 3 times, but the hard thing I find is that mascara is very dark and you have very light eyelashes. That's fair. But okay, so previously I have just used the liquid eyeliner, and it works, but it's a massive hassle, and this stuff, it does not come in very large amounts, so consequently I use this, the felt tip, to do the bulk of the heavy lifting. And the biggest problem I have with doing this is that my eyes always want to blink when I'm doing it. So you pretty much just have to master you pretty much have to master staring at the mirror from down your nose, because that means your eyelids are actually resting a bit better. Just got here's this makeup stream time. It is. Have a lazy eye, also known as amblyopia. Oh, I'm amblyopia. I know I've been accused of having a lazy eye before. I don't know 100%. Mascara looks excessive on me? Okay, I'm gonna have to be quiet because I have to be looking in a very particular direction, and that direction is not at the chat. So, give me a moment, folks. So we are just starting off with a black line, more or less just along the edging of our eyelid where our eyelashes begin. And you want to try and do that such that essentially you obscure the point where your eyelashes end, well, begin and end a bit, so you end up with a little bit of the raccoon eye, as it were. And my left eye is always the most annoying to do this with, because my right will actually sit still while I'm doing it. You performed eye makeup and applying eyeliner-based fake tattoos. Oof, whilst on a moving train. Jeez. Okay. Yeah, my right eye is a lot more patient than my left. I think that's the easy way to describe it. So it tends to want to move a lot. I also tend to do this with a much larger mirror, so I don't expect perfection from me tonight. Eyeliner makes great makeup for cat whiskers and nose. Yep, it's very good for that. Haven't done that personally, but I know it's used for that. Okay, so I can't really make out how that looks from your angle. There we go. So you can kind of make out that my eyes are a little bit darker around the edging, which is what we're mostly looking at with eyeliner. But because this is a felt tip, it is very soft. It blends quite significantly at the edging, so it's not very sharp. And what you really want with eyeliner is a sharp shape, especially if you're doing wings. So then we take our liquid and we start to actually edge around it, as well as down nearer to the actual waterline, as it's called, where your eyelashes begin. Because if you just have, like, especially with my pale skin, if you leave that untouched, then it's very clear where the eyeliner starts and ends. You makeup tutorial channel when I am the least bit qualified to make tutorials for makeup, essentially. I know I'm not looking at camera, but that's kind of a problem right now, anyways. Okay, so unlike the felt tip, the liquid is a bit more of a brush. So I'm actually looking a bit close to camera, at least. So you can actually paint stuff a bit easier, quite a lot easier, in fact. And this is the worst part for me. I am the least competent at this. Especially because I'm pretty sure this particular eyeliner is running out. So it's always a massive pain in the neck to get anything going, and I do not have enough light here. Yeah, I bought 2 of these a while ago for just, like, assistance with stuffs, and oh boy. World of help. In the most unexpected places. Okay. You're supposed to do these in one stroke, but I can never get enough liquid on it. Just use a pen. You could, if you were extremely desperate, you absolutely could. Used to paint my nails with Sharpie. Oh dear. So, okay. Next step, at least for this eye, is to actually apply a wing. And essentially you want to follow the line of your lower eyelid as it goes up to start. So we get that kind of pointed point. And now essentially you want to just draw, you want to join that with the top of your eyeliner.
ideally in a curve, but take what you can get, more or less, as far as my experience goes. And then you just want to fill in that shape as well. So if you can kind of make out that shape there, that is the beginning of a wing. Certainly not perfect. Do not come to me for perfect beauty advice, but here we go. 15 people watching me, apparently. Put on the eyeliner really badly. Some more of this because it's more expensive than printer ink, this stuff, so you get very, very small amounts. Can we get the Yip Barretts for his bang, like the Final Fantasy character? I don't follow. More or less what my bang needs is a trim, but I daren't do that myself. Okay, so how's that look, everybody? Not horrible, not horrifying. Decently enough for this camera, at the very least. The things that hold hair? Yeah, I have those. It may surprise you to know I have those already. A whole box of them in the bathroom. Can I do the other side? Which again is my worst. I'm worst on doing my nails on the left, on the right, and I'm worst on doing my eyes on the left. I don't know why that is exactly. Yeah, I can pretty much never get these to be even, but oh well. There we go. Okay. That's my left eye is usually obscured by my bang anyway, so it's not that big of an issue. Right. So that is a little bit of eye makeup. You can also apply eyeshadow above. I'm not very good at that, so we'll leave that alone. And there is my eyelid doing exactly what I said it would. Which is it has smudged itself. But thankfully this is a water-soluble makeup because it's liquid, so I can just smudge that away with a bit of what's the phrase here? Fluid? I don't know. Of course, there is the other like approach, which is just apply eyeliner to everything and then just scrub away what you don't want. Which, yeah, it works, I guess. Did I just lick it? Not the eyeliner, no. Alright. Next up, a little bit of lipstick, shall we? So, you generally want to put lip balm first, because it protects your lips and makes them from, like, prevents them from chapping and all sorts, which is usually good. Because you usually tend to wear a lot of this for quite a while. So... and since you've got lipstick and such all over your lips, you don't really get much moisture into them. So, yeah. Chapped lips hurt? Yes, especially when they are underneath your makeup. Okay. So now,
we have this. Now, you generally want to try and get a color that's as close to your actual lip color as much as possible, but you can find other parts of your body that are of similar tone. I think the two I've heard generally advised are, what's the thing? It's like the inside of your nails as well as your nipples. Apparently, they're the same color that you're aiming for with your lips when you're choosing out, when you're picking out nude makeup. But yeah, well, I will not mention what I used to get the color on this one. But, as I say, it is meant to be essentially invisible when you edit it, which is bizarre, but yeah. Nude makeup is a lot more performative than most makeups, I guess. Two things I want your lips to look like. It's because they're the same tone of skin. Like, you've got your main bulk of your skin, which is your main skin tone, and then you have what color your lips and, like, your inner eyes and whatnot those are. And they're very distinct colors. So, there's a handful of places that essentially have the same color as your lips, so it's just an easy thing to compare with. Okay, now I have a slight problem when I'm doing my upper lip for this. Partially because my lips are, my top lip is crooked, and also partially because I have a scar on the left-hand side here. So that always kind of like messes where I need to put stuff. Precisely where that scar's from, I have no idea. How did I manage to... Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how long I've even had it. But there is a small scar on my top lip. You usually can't see it because I've got the mustache over it, but it's there. And generally speaking, what I like to do when I've just applied lip makeup is to just take a piece of like toilet paper or whatever and just like hump it just to get rid of the excess. But we can leave that for right now. Okay, so there we have it. The wings are not horrifyingly bad, and the lip is quite good. Now, I do get a lot of people wondering why I bother applying all of this makeup when considering I still have facial hair going, and it is largely a question of personal preference. I like my facial hair and I like my makeup, so there we have it. I'm not trying to like... what's the phrase here? I'm not trying to confuse anybody. I'm aware I do that anyways. But, yeah, I'm not trying to like deceive in the slightest bit. I'm just trying to be me and be comfortable and be happy and such. So, yeah, there I am. So, today we have applied some lovely, lovely nail polish. I do like this. This looks very nice. And we managed to also show up a little bit how you do wings. Again, I'm not perfect on wings, but you can probably see the distinction now between before and after, as it were. And I have a setting powder, is what's called, and that's generally what I apply over top the eyeliner just to keep it going there. I can rock facial hair and makeup. Yeah, I think I do pretty well. I haven't done it, I haven't worn face makeup for a while now, because pandemic, essentially. It's just like, I don't really have the energy to put in for it. But yeah. Now Lion needs to make chicken wings. Oh no, I'm making oyakodon. Or mother and child rice bowl. It's a Japanese dish, but it's delicious. But yeah, I'm gonna go make dinner, and hope you all have a nice night. Hope you've enjoyed this bonus stream. And a reminder, if we hit another, if we hit 160 subs, which I believe is another 65 subs, then we will get another bonus stream. And what that will be, I do not know. It's probably going to be a while before we hit that. But yeah, stay safe, everybody. Stay happy as much as you can in these very difficult hours. And I will catch you all as ever next time.